Allah is the one, the one, the one, the one.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Assalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya wal mursalin sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rabbi israh li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah. Tonight we meet again for the series of the Prophet, and Alhamdulillah Allah still give us iman in our heart and then ability to come here to the centers and inshallah in the remembrance of Allah. And also may Allah send salutations and blessings to our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all his family members and all his companions and all who follow him until the end of time. Okay, today we continue with our stories of the Prophet, of the mighty prophets, Ulul'azm. We met last month and there was what was the first prophet?
No.
Oh, Prophet, mashallah. Right, and today we will start with the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. We only have about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, inshallah. So let's go through. Bismillah. So what we're going to talk today, brother, you can probably go a little bit forward. Yeah. So I feel like I'm surrounded by someone. Bismillah. Okay, what we're going to talk today, just a quick note, if people forget what Ulul'azm really means, so we're just going to quick note on that. And then now we coming to the second prophet, so we go to some of the lessons learned. Of course there's going to be a lot of wisdoms and lessons from our Prophet Noah alayhi salam, but what we talked about last month, we're just going to highlight some of the things because there will be some relationships with the characters of the prophet that we're going to talk today, inshallah. And then we go to just a little bit about the lineage of Prophet Ibrahim and how he linked to the other prophets, and a little bit on the family as well, what is the information that's available to us. And then we go to the storyline of the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. Of course we will not do justice to tell the stories of Prophet Ibrahim in just 1 hour or even 45 minutes. I'll just probably take some of the key items. You might have heard this before, so hopefully this is going to be a reminder for you, or you will hear that for the 100th time, but it's going to be a different wisdom that we can extract, inshallah. And then what are the wisdoms of the stories that we're going to cover tonight? Alright, Ulul'azm, as I tried to look up the dictionary about determination, as someone who has strong determination, strong will, strong drive to get the distance, and I don't know whether the word hell-bent should be nice, it should be something that we put here, but this is what the dictionary, to reaching the goal and getting done no matter what, right? So this is like Ulul'azm. So what is Ulul'azm? This Ulul'azm is mentioned in Quran in Al-Ahqaf, number 35. Fasbir kama sabara Ulul'azm. So the word Ulul'azm itself comes from Al-Quran, where Rasulullah SAW has been reminded by Allah. Look at that, look at the Ulul'azm, who they are. They have a very strong determination, that is, but you also reminded that do not seek to hasten their believing. So what it means is Prophet ﷺ just to put all the strong will and courage and the azam, but you never expect people will accept that, because hidayah comes from Allah. Where they're gonna take it today, we're gonna take it tomorrow, 100 years from now, this is up to Allah. So that is the word Ulul'azm. In Surah Al-Ahzab, ayat number 7. What's happening? Wa is ahasna min nabiyina mithaqahum wa minka. So we take the covenant from you, wa minka, wa min Nuh, then from Nuh, wa Ibrahim, wa Musa, wa Isa ibn Maryam, wa ahasna minhu mithaqa ghalidha. Here Allah actually listed all the prophets, the five prophets, which is the prophets Nuh, Ibrahim, Musa, and Isa. This is very unique here. Isa is the one that mentions Ibn Maryam in here, right? And then Minka and you as well, which is Rasulullah SAW. Just quickly on this word, Isa Ibn Maryam. When Allah mentioned Ibn Maryam, what it means is it's Allah testify, not testify, the right testify was Allah wants to mention that the nobility, the chastity, and the purity of Maryam alayhi salam, by saying that the Isa is actually his son. It's not Isa the son of man, the son of God, but Isa ibn Maryam. So the mean he is a pure, she is pure, she was not been touched by man. This is just to show the word Isa bin Maryam, not only to show nobility and purity but also to Maryam alayhi salam, the only persons in here out of these five prophets, and Allah mentions Ibn Maryam, subhanallah. So this is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned the four people that may attain the highest level of iman, and one of them is the mother of Isa, Maryam alayhi salam, subhanallah. And then Allahu yastafi min al-malaikati rusulan wa min nas. What does it mean? Allah sends about 124,000 prophets. Out of those 124,000, only 300 something, 313 they are Rasul. But out of the 313 Rasul, there's only 5 special mighty prophets. Right? So this is Allah with His wisdom and with His Hakim. He chose whoever He wants. Right? He chose out of 7 days. Allah chose Friday to be the blessings of within the week. Out of the months, Allah chose Ramadan, for example, and so on and so forth. So Allah chose whoever He wants, whoever He wills, and in this case Allah chose these 5 to be the mighty prophets, including our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alright, so that is topic 1. So next one, what we last month learned about the lessons of Prophet Noah alayhi salam. Number 1, da'wah, focus on effort. Brother Adil, da'wah, focus on effort, not on result. Right? So we agree, we improve the method, keep the message of Tawhid. So we don't count how many sada, we don't count, but you just put effort. It's not working this way, we improve it. Last week we did a da'wah training, so hopefully it will sort of empower, sort of give us more ammo and skills and experience, so we can even more effectively spread this deen. And one of the lessons learned is Iblis has always tried to do the best effort, right, to make us fall into polytheism or shirk. And then the third point is a knowledge of the appearance versus true knowledge. We had an example of this time of Nuh alayhi salam. He is known for someone who is noble, who is honest and true persons, right? And then we can see why he built this ark in the middle of, for example, not at near the sea, but there is a true knowledge on that. So people who has been covered with the layers of shirk will not be able to capture that. We also give an example of someone. What was the example last time? I don't know whether anyone still remember. The examples of you came to a new country and then you rent a car, right? So you're driving 200, 100 kilometers an hour, just speeds and everything, and then suddenly someone in the FM radio says, "Be careful! This is a traffic jam right in front of you." You didn't see anything. This guy, you never trust him. You don't know him. It's the first time you're in this country. The first time you heard this FM. The first time, but your mind knows that you should make an action. And that's why you take the turn, you take the exit, and then just before that, you see there's a 5 kilometers, 6 kilometers of long queues of traffic jam. So this is what we discussed last time. So this is some of the lessons about the Prophet Noah. One of them is da'wah, and we can see again how it links to Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. All right. So just a little bit about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. He's based in the old times of Babylon, right? And I think it's Al-Kindan or something. That is where the Iraq's right now. So if you look at here, this is where the Iraq now, and this is probably like around Karbala, Kufa. This is Baghdad, somewhere around here. This is the river of Euphrates, right? Okay, he used to live in a place called Chaldeans, which is the present time Iraq. And Ibrahim, there is a narration, I think it's a Israeliyat, Ibrahim bin Azar, and then bin this and bin until 9 people to Nuh alayhi salam, bin Sam and bin Nuh. And then from Nuh alayhi salam is about 6 generations to Adam, 2 plus 4, about 6, including Nuh, one prophet, another prophet which is Idris alayhi salam, and Prophet Seth, which is Seth bin Adam. And there's also narrations in Israeliyat that he is actually related to Nabi Lut alayhi salam, through that one of his brothers is actually the father of Lut alayhi salam. Wallahu alam. So not much about the lineage and the family of Nuh, but we can go more details about his lineage later on, inshallah. All right, the storyline. What we're gonna cover tonight, inshallah. 5 things. We're gonna talk about the shirk, the people around the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, where they perform and they conduct and they fall into shirk. And then one of the shirk is the two type of shirk. One if worshipping celestial bodies, and the other one worshipping statues and whatnot. And the second topic about how he used his reasoning by destroying all the statues. And then there's also a famous stories about how he's thrown into flame. We're not going to cover more detail, we're just going to get snippet here and there. And one of the I think one of the amazing stories in my humble opinion, out of all the other stories that I hear from the Prophet, is how he took his family from Palestine, I think, and then went to a place called Bakka or Makkah and just left his family. So we're gonna tell the stories about how we can. This is probably one of the biggest tests, if not just right after where he slaughtered his own son later on. That is coming to number 5. We're gonna talk about a little bit about sacrifice of his beloved son. All of this, well, inshallah, will come into 2 main wisdoms about Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. All right, let's start with the polytheism. Poly means many, and the or dio means God. Polytheism means many gods. Right? In Islamic term we call it shirk. Right? The opposite of shirk is wahid, one. So it's a tawhid. So the opposite of tawhid is shirk. So 2 types of shirk. Number 1 is people creating statues, and with the shape of animal, with the shape of alien, with the shape of human, and they worship them, right? And number 2 is celestial bodies like the sun and the moon, right? The stars. So people worship that as well. Now the statues, his father, which is Azar. There's some narrations say that he's actually not his father, but his uncle. His father is actually the creator of gods, right? So he built statues, and then one of the statues is very famous, is by the name of Mardud. It is actually the god of gods, right? He's got big ear. So one day Prophet Ibrahim asked, why this god has a big ear? And his father answered, because with the big ear he has a deep knowledge. He understands you. He understands your problem. At the 7-year-old, right, Ibrahim alayhi salam would just laugh, and then for him it doesn't make sense. That's the thing, when people has already been covered with layers of shirk, people forget to use. This is a spiritual problem, right? So because of that, the intellectual problems as well, right? So I don't know whether I told these stories about someone, I think in this forum, I don't know whether there's a different forum. Someone went to, I think it was Bangkok or something, and then they saw this guy giving drink to just in front of the shop there is a small sacrificing table or so, something like that, like a gods or whatever. So every day he opened the shop, and then this guy came in, and then he saw him giving a drink, and then this guy was probably like 8 or 9 year old or something. What are you doing? "Oh, I'm giving the God drinks." How long have you been doing this? About 20 years. Okay. So you're giving your God drinks every day? Yeah, every day. Every time I open the shops, I give the God the drinks for 20 years. And then out of these 20 years, just ask the little kid, the 8-year-old, out of these 20 years, how many times the God actually drink it? Just simple question for because for the kid this just doesn't make sense. And that just simple questions actually struck to the shop owner, and then there was a story that after that he tried to find the truth and find Islam and so on. So this is one of the lessons learned that we're going to cover tonight, is how Ibrahim alayhi salam used the reasoning now. And just recently last week we talked about how to use narrations, about how to use logic and reasoning to find God, right? And then what actually make Ibrahim alayhi salam becoming very very angry, how he sees people coming to the temple and they bow to the statues. They're the statues that his own father actually created, and he cry and make dua, like implore God, "Oh God, I have this problem." Right? So this is really at the lowest layers of shirk. So many layers of shirk, and then you actually lost your intellectuality because of this. All right, celestial bodies, meaning the star, the moon, the sun, and here where you found in Quran where Ibrahim alayhi salam asked, "I think my God is this sun because it's big, right? And it's big as sun." But then the sun said, "Well, I don't want to have a God that was set as well." And then the moon disappeared, and then the star. So this is the way of Ibrahim alayhi salam to make reason to all the people around him that all these celestial bodies are just all creation. They just follow a certain pattern, right? So they don't have power. They're just there to serve human actually, right? Everything in the world is created for us, and we are created to worship Allah. And this is where Ibrahim alayhi salam talked to his father, and is qala li abihi wa qawmihi. This is talking to his father and to his kaum. Ma hazihi tamathilul lati antum laha akifun. Exactly what is it that you worship? Right, a simple question. Right, exactly, just to remind, because there's already layers and ages of shirk. What exactly that you are actually worshipping? And this is the answer that we always gonna hear until now. What is it? We found our forefathers doing it. This is a tradition. We've been doing it for ages, right? Our grandfathers, our forefathers may not be wrong, right? They can be wrong, right? And I think there's many times mentioned in the Quran, wa iza qila lahum tabi'u ma anzalallahu qalu bal nattabi'u ma anzal. And then this is I think this is Surah Luqman, where why don't you follow what Allah has already revealed to you? No, this is what our grandfathers, our forefathers, our traditions is always like this. Right? We just follow traditions. It's just a lazy answer. And until now, people will use that. Why are you doing that? Oh, this is already comes in our tradition, right? So this is Surah Al-Anbiya, and this is quite common. I found, I think, at least 4 or 5 narrations or reference in Quran where people says why I'm doing this, because I'm following my forefathers, right? It's the traditions. So traditions can actually put aside the way we worship Allah. All right, and again, this is watilka hujjatuna. This is the hujjah. So the idea of Ibrahim alayhi salam to discuss about, to use the mind, to use the reason, it is the hujjah, right? The arguments, that one of the blessings of Allah upon our Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, so that they can use this reasoning to the people around it. And this is what it is very interesting that we discussed this in our last week class about this. I want to tell you a little bit story. It probably happens about my daughter is about 14 now. She was about 8 or 9, so probably about uh, 5, 6 years ago. I don't know whether I told this story, but anyway, I'm gonna tell that because it's somehow related to this. One of my friends visiting me, he's from Indonesia. He visited me in Hong Kong, and he complained about his teenager daughters started asking why we need to pray, why we cannot see God, right? And what's the purpose of praying? And it's just, is there too much hassle and too many regulations and rules and so on? So start questioning the Father, and then most of the questions I can answer it, right? But there's one particular question that I cannot answer it. What was that? We were just having dinner, me and my wife and my friend, and then my daughter Tara. She was about 6 or 7, something like that. And my daughter asked me, everything created by Allah, right? Yes. Then who created Allah? Okay, and then what is your answer? I asked my friend. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I know the answer, but I cannot answer how. Okay, but we spoke in Indonesian, so my daughter said just ignore it because we spoke in Indonesian. Okay, why don't you ask Tara? Ask my daughter, but you have to ask in English. Okay, and then he asked, Tara, all right, yes. Can I ask you a question? Yes. And then she was eating, and this is very funny. It's really, I can picture it. It's really like it was happening yesterday. And my friend asked, everything created by Allah, right? Yes. And who created Allah? You know what happened to my daughter? She was eating, and then she almost fell off the chair, like that. And then she looked at, if he is created, then he is not God. And my friend, he was shocked because his 8-year-old answered like that. What does it mean? I don't understand. How can she understand that way? Because this is what we call in English oxymoron, right? I find it very hard. It took me some time to try to make analogy to that. And I told my friends, okay, I'll tell you what. What if I'm telling you right now, for example, I use brother Adil, for example. What if I'm telling you right now, brother Adil went to the hospital and he gave birth. If he gave birth to a baby, is the baby son or is the baby a boy or girl? No, it's not. What is the answer? No, the answer would be boy or girl, right? So for me, for us, that question is wrong, right? If it's a man will not give birth, right? So the concept of God, that means is uncreated, right? So they have to stop somewhere. For example, I'm a policeman, and then I have a what do you call the order kill? What do you call that? License to shoot. But every time I shoot, there's a rule for me to ask. I have to ask my superior, can I shoot or not? But the boss is always asked to ask questions as well. Can he shoot? But if this is going on forever, then if the thief comes, then he will never shoot this thief because he always ask. So never ending. He has to stop somewhere. And that guy, whatever the general, that say yes, he can shoot, that has to stop somewhere, right? So when you ask the question, who created Allah? That's why my daughter thinks your question is so stupid. That's why she always fell off the chair, right? And I can see my friend was actually got teary eyes, subhanallah. So it was a very beautiful conversation for us because it's called as oxymoron, right? It's like what's the example for oxymoron? Like, for example, as a living dead, for example, that's an oxymoron. So it's a contradict by itself. So if it's God, that means it cannot be created because He creates the rest of everything. So, all right. So, but if you don't instill this in a very young age, if you just ask your kid, pray, that is only spiritual side of it. All right. You need to fit the intellect. There's always intellectual and spiritual side. All right. If you have so much intellectual without spiritual, you become Yahud. Right? If you have so much spiritual, no intellectual, you become Nasrani, right? So you have to balance this one. The same thing we want.
We are the middle part.
That's why we in the middle part. Alhamdulillah, may Allah keep us steadfast on that. That's why we cannot just ask our children, pray, pray, pray. That means you only build up the spiritual side of it. You need to also feed the intellectual side of it, right? So there's always a balance between these two. Alright. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ وَالشَّمْسُ وَالْقَمَرِ لَا تَسْجُدُوا لِلشَّمْسِ وَلَا لِلْقَمَرِ وَاسْجُدُوا لِلَّهِ الَّذِي خَلَقَهُنَّ إِن كُنتُمْ إِيَّاهُ تَعْبُدُونَ. All this, the night, the day, the sun and the moon, they're just all the signs of Allah. You know the signs, like for example, you go here, there's a traffic sign pointing to the left. It's just a sign. So everything in this world is just like pointing something. If you see the sign to McDonald's, right, for example, if you see the sign, that means you know McDonald's is around. This is the sign, right? And you follow the sign. They say McDonald's 200 meters. Am I allowed to say?
I still work.
Huh?
I still.
No, I'm just giving example. Okay, let's biryani shop or something.
Yes.
200 meters, right? And you know for sure you can you almost can smell it, right? That is sign. So all of this Allah create is actually the sign that Allah is the creator, right? And Allah reminded, La tasjudu lisamsi wala lilqamar. And don't worship this moon and sun. Don't worship the sign, right? You go to the sign biryani and you eat the sign. No, you go to the shop first and buy. And this is the idea is for you to separate between the sign and the destination, between the creation and the creator, right? And amazing, wallahi, with Brother Lim last year. So if you can talk to your prospect about, if you can differentiate between the creator and the creation, right? And then slowly build up your argument and hujjah, right? And just leave it to that. So this is because the fitrah. You have to know which one is sign. Can I say McDonald again? If you can just differentiate between which one is a sign, which one is a destination, and that's all what we need to do. So it is very inspiring. I cannot thank Allah enough for the discussions that we had. So probably we have more emos and whatnot. Yeah, inshallah. So we know how to discuss that. Huh? Many to many. Yeah, well, more powerful emos, inshallah. Yeah, more halal emos. So, and Allah says, and wasjudu, and then you just worship lillahi allazi khalaqahunna, worship the one who created. Yeah, and again, this is a very good hujjah. If you can differentiate which one is the creator, which one is the creation. All right, we going to second topic, which is the how Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam destroyed the statues. So there was a big celebration. Ibn Abbas mentioned that Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam lied 3 times in his life. How many times we lied? How many times we lied, brothers? Astaghfirullah, may Allah. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam only lied 3 times in his life. 2 for the sake of Allah, and 1 for sake his wife. Do you know all these 3? One of them, this is the first one.
When you said the big one.
This is the one of the this is the first one. It was a big celebration. The whole town going to a certain area where they have to do some big festivals and worship and whatnot. And then Ibrahim alayhi salam, so I'm not feeling well today. I'm gonna stay home, right? So this is his first life. Thank. Okay. Yeah. And where was I? Okay. And Ibrahim alayhi salam went to that temple. So because everyone left the city and then left. Imagine this is a big temple, right? Imagine this, like the biggest temple that people is now empty because everyone left the city for the big festival. And what he did, this is the destruction. He smashed all the statues, right? And the small one, the little one, the whatever, the monkey shape, the orangutan shape, the fat man shape, and whatever, right? and then they leave the biggest one with the axe. So the idea is to ask people to think. Now later that we know that actually people after that they actually woke up, right? But then people come in and then they see the big, for us like our big masajid being chaotic and everything is like, turned into pieces and everything. Of course, everyone very upset. Oh, look at this, who destroy our gods and everything. And Ibrahim alayhi salam, did you know you did this or whatever? I said, no, I didn't do that. Look at the big statue with the axe. This is his second lie. When he was asked who destroyed all this, he didn't say it was me, but he said. But again, the purpose of it is to wake everyone up, right? And there was a big arguments after that, and Ibrahim was arrested, and then everyone knows after that how he was sentenced to be burned, right? Yes, this is in Surah Al-Anbiya. When Ibrahim was asked, he said, "Qala bal fa'alahu kabiruhum haza fas'aluhum." Right? Look at that, your God of gods. This is the chief of your gods. Look at him. He's the big one. Why don't you ask him? Right? Wa as'aluhum in kanu yantiqun. You can ask them. Probably they will answer. At the minute they actually stop. In the tafsir, you can find thing that everyone looking at each other and they say, "Oops, yes, Ibrahim was right." So they actually really believe that. But you know why people do not accept that? Arrogance. Yeah, it's stubbornness, arrogance. They know that's why they know this is the truth. They know, so this is already hit them. They say, "Oh, we are actually zalimun. We are doing wrong here. How come we build something and we worship and look at the acts and everything now?" Ibrahim woke up, but they refuse to accept it. They refuse to accept it. And again, this is the sign of the shirk at the lowest level, right? So the arrogance already take the best of it. All right, let's go to the third topic, and thrown into the flame. Everyone knows this. This is not a new stories, but if you really think about it, right? This is like a big festival for everyone. Everyone contribute. What do you call the wood for firewood, right? Everyone contribute. Every woman in the cities, they contribute. They prepare like days and even weeks. What kind of fire do you want to prepare to burn only one person, right? This is like kill a fly with bazooka, right? Right. That's really the analogy. Well, this is how they really hate it and really like take revenge. They put everything. They cannot even go to the fire. They have to build high precision catapult to make that so they can throw, right? And all the priests look at from the distance. In the narration, they say even the priests, their bodies actually like turn into like the dust and everything because the fire has been built for days, right? And then just the last minute before Ibrahim was catapulted into the fire, Angel Jibril came and asked, "Listen to this. Do you wish for anything?" And what is the answer for Ibrahim alayhi salam? Not from you. Not from you. Let's drill down to this. Why he said not from you. Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, when we come to the next story later on, he's the one who, if Allah wants me to do what Allah wants me to do right now, I am doing what Allah wants me to do, and because of that I'm into this position, I'm very sure Allah will take care of me. I'm very sure Allah will take care of me. That's iman. That's belief of Ibrahim alayhi salam, right? So for him, of course, human nature will be scared of fire, but why I put into this right now? Because I'm spreading the deen the way Allah wants me to spread the deen, and for that Allah will look after me. the same answer Hajar will be answering later on when he was being subhanallah. And what happened after that? After the fire finished and everything, everyone just shocked because Ibrahim came down. I can imagine this is when inshallah when we met again in Jannah and we met Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. We want this video to be played and then we asked Ibrahim to narrate all the stories, how he came up. I was thinking, I don't know, we just probably what fire or something like that, right? It's just all the prison, everyone's like, it's really for them. This is like killing bazooka with killing an ant with bazooka, right? And then and the ant is just not even a single scratch, right? So out of so many people, of course, some of them start to believing in him as a prophet, right? But because of the pressure from the society and everything, not many people actually come up and it is quite common even the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he left from Makkah to Medina, there are actually some hidden Muslims. They're Muslim but they don't want to come out. Right? Including probably one of them even Abbas bin Abdul Muttalib. Yeah. So yes, he's out unharmed and.
Is it true that Ibrahim alayhi salam said that when he was in the fire, that was the best time he had because the fire was cold?
I heard that before, but the book that I was capturing from Ibn Kathir, I didn't find that. So I heard that before that, probably like because his comfort, right? Allah says, "Kulna ya naru, O fire, right? Kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim." So this is Allah direct order to the sun, to the fire, right? Cool, give comfort and salam. Of course, if the creation of Allah is give salam to the Prophet, I can say yes to that question, right? It must be give coolness and out of the fires and everything. Probably even can you please throw me some like a jacket? I'm a bit cold in here or something like that, right? So it would be very nice to see that video, right? So yeah, this is Ya naru kuni bardan wa salaman ala Ibrahim. And then what happened after that? After all the plots, I don't know how much money they spent on the the firewoods and preparing the fires and building the high precision catapult and everything. How much money they spent, and the result is nothing, right? So this is a big loss, right? Al-Akhsarin. So this is a big loss for them. All right, so there you go. This is, I don't know how many times I tell this story, but it's always one of the amazing stories for me. And I'm a father. I'm a father of two. You're a father as well. One of the things that I used to do when my daughters is probably about 5 or 6 year old, right? You wake up at night, right? And before you go to do your salah and qiyamul layl and stuff, you open the door and you look at your 4-year-old. You look at your 5-year-old. They're still cute, innocence and everything. You look at them, right? You look at just the face and everything. And you remember how during the Yawmul Qiyamah, parents actually running away from that, and I cannot. How can that be possible? Right? These innocent girls. It was one of the biggest calamity someone could have is when the parent have their 4 or 5-year-old sons or daughters pass away. Nothing more than bigger than this calamity, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been tested so many times. Right? When Ibrahim passed away, when Qasim passed away, and Abdullah as well, they're all young age. I tell you the stories, and this story was told to me when he told the story. It was this person was in Masajid, and he was going to catch the taxi to the airport. He was ready to leave the airport, and suddenly the masjid announced that someone just passed away, and they want to do salat janazah. And then, okay, probably I have some time, so let me do the salat janazah as well. So he stayed there and then do the salat janazah, and then he realized the janazah was actually a small boy, probably like 5-6 year old. And after the prayer, the father took the son, and he stood up. Not even 1 second, he actually collapsed. While he was alive, he just probably carry and play around. But because the father was so much, because the heart and everything, it was just so much pain and agony. The father cannot even leave his own son. He actually collapsed, right? And then throughout the walk from the masjid to the kubur, to the grave, the father is just crying and just can only put his hand to the head. Oh my son, and then collapse again and stand up. Oh my son. This is how big a calamity. This is one of the biggest calamity, right? Losing your own son, and this what is going through the Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. When Ismail was still nursing, so I just googled today, the distance between Palestine and Mecca is about 2,763 kilometers. So if you walk, it's about 525 hours. So it's probably about 22 days, so 3 weeks of walk. Ibrahim, Hajar and his son Ismail walk all the way, and just right in the middle of desert. Just right in the middle, whatever you see is all sands. And then Ibrahim alayhi salam cannot say anything. He just left his family, his wife, and Ismail was still nursing, and just limited food supplies and waters. He cannot say anything. He just turn around and walk and walk and walk. You can imagine how the father is feeling. You can imagine. I told you the stories. Even someone who just have his son pass away, he can't even live. How big of a courage of Prophet Ibrahim salam to actually walk, knowing that his son and his wife have nothing to support. Wherever you see, it's just there's no mall and no credit card, no anything, right? And Hajar just came, what are you doing, Ibrahim? I mean, what's happening here? You're gonna leave us behind, Ibrahim? And then he kept talking, Ibrahim, why are you leaving us behind? And then Hajar was thinking, oh, Ibrahim, did Allah tell you to do this? Yes, that's it. If Allah tells you to do this, Allah will look after me. That is Iman, that is faith. How we test it right now compared to this, it's nothing. Right? It's all nothing. Since it is Allah commands, we're not going to be lost. If you think about it, right, what happened after the Hajar being left? With all limited supplies, and the baby start crying, and she didn't have anything, and there's no malls, there's no shops, and no 7-Eleven. She can only run to look for water. That's the only thing she could do. You heard the stories, and Ibrahim came, and there was Zamzam and everything. Look at the way she ran from Safa and Marwa. Right? This is not act of worship. This is a mother desperately looking for water. Look at what's happening right now. We Muslims cannot be a complete Muslim until we do the fifth pillar of Islam, which is Hajj. What is one of the actions that we do for Hajj? Safa and Marwa. Doing what? Just only mimicking someone looking for water. No. This is the show of obedience. Right. So subhanallah, that's why Wajahidu fillahi haqqa jihadi wa. This is Milata Ibrahim. This is the Milad Ibrahim. This is really amazing how Ibrahim and his family being tested. Right? And like jump now? No, jump right away. Right? The same thing with Musa alayhi salam when he was lost out in the desert at night, and he went to this Tua, and then the sound Ya Musa, and then how can you must be very shocked, right? It was dark, it was cold, and everything. You heard someone calling you, and then Allah asked, "Wama tilka biyaminika ya Musa? What is it on your right hand?" And Musa says, "This, this, this. I do this for that." Right? And then Allah instruct Musa, "Can we just throw away your staff?" And it turned into, it's not an illusion, it's really snake, right? It changed into a snake. And what Allah says after that, hold and don't be afraid, right? Hold the snake and don't be afraid. If you were like Musa, say, hold on a sec, Ya Allah, you got the wrong order. You should be, don't be afraid, then hold the snake. No, Allah said, hold the snake and don't be afraid. Allah order is number one. It even defeat your feeling, it even defeat your physical, right? Just Allah instructions is your, Allah command is your number one. So when Hajar was met, is it the order from Allah, Ya Ibrahim? Yes, that's it. I'm fine. I'm done. Allah's command, I won't be lost. Subhanallah. And this is the last part, which is the sacrifice of the beloved son. Allah gave Ibrahim and his son Ismail the biggest test ever. In the Christians' narration, it was Isaac, which was Ishaq, that was slaughtered, right? And there was when Ibrahim alayhi salam had a dream. Oh my son, I had a dream that in my dream I slaughter you. What did Ismail say? Yeah, do as what you are told. And inshallah you find me being among all the patients. Right? And again, this is again the biggest test. Right? How can you slaughter your own son? Right? If you really think about it, we just share how losing a family, losing a son for a father is a huge test. Not only Prophet Muhammad also not only being Prophet Ibrahim not only being tested by losing, he is tested by slaughter your own son. Right? No other human being will be tested this hard. Right? No other. And the Iblis tried to stop, and the act of stoning, and then what is that act of stoning? So okay, Iblis don't, I wanna slaughter my son, and Iblis said stop, and then the act of stoning, the Jumrah Ula Wusta and Aqabah, right? So this is part of the ritual within the Hajj, right? When you're throwing a Jumratul Ula, Wusta and Aqabah. And then Allah called Ibrahim and replaced it with the goat. So everyone heard this story, how Allah replaced that with the goat and ram. Alright, this is the ayah when Ibrahim alayhi salam had a dream, and it tells within my dream I saw that I slaughter you and all my father, right? Do as what you are told. Ya abatif al ma tu'mar, whatever you have been commanded. Inshallah you find me minas sabirin. Inshallah you find me among all the patients. So the one who's being tested is not only Ibrahim but also Ismail. You can imagine if that happens. So if Ismail, like, not as a prophet like he is, will probably, why me, Dad? Why not you? You older. I have still a life ahead of me. Why don't you? Right? This is again is an amazing story. How prophets are tested beyond what we cannot picture. So if you're being tested like this. Alright, and this is the narrations where وَنَدَيْنَاهُ ayya Ibrahim, and then Allah called Ya Ibrahim, and then you have already fulfilled قَدْ صَدَقْتَ رُؤْيَا. Ru'ya means a dream. So you have already fulfilled your dream. What is your dream? In your dream, that you slaughter your own son. Innaka dhalika, then verily we will pay for everything as you good, everything that you've done good. All right, wow, 2050. So let's speed up. So what is the wisdom? What is the wisdom for me? All the stories, the many stories of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. The wisdom I want to share with you is, first of all, da'wah. Reasoning in da'wah. Subhanallah. Again, it's last week we talked about being reasons and everything. I'm not gonna go detail in that. But if someone tells me what else that you can derive from Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, he is the pinnacle of faith. Right? Is the pinnacle of faith. Is a complete trust in Allah. What we've been asked. Our sisters sometimes wearing hijab. Oh, it's hard, it's difficult, right? I like this Islam thing, but come on. I mean, halal things is very hard to find. Why don't we just relax a little bit, right? So we always argue, we always find excuses and stuff. Look at Ibrahim and the family. The instructions is for us is just beyond our imagination. So the word pinnacle of faith, I don't see anything that is the show of trust. So what we doing during the Hajj, like the stoning, the Ula Usta Aqaba, the sa'i between Safa and Marwa. What is that? Right. This is just the act of the family of Ibrahim, which is the highest level of devotion, the highest level of tawakkul on Allah, the highest level of believing in Allah, and really the faith, the highest faith to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And look at now what happened right now. Everyone, even the slaughter of the animal right now. How many animals been slaughtered until that time from now on? Look at the bank of the bank account of Ibrahim, the family, right? Cling, 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 cling. Subhanallah. Like how many steps that people do within every day. There's always people doing this sa'i between Safa and Marwa, right? There's always people, huh? Safa and Marwa, right?
I mean, even the Kaaba.
Yeah.
The Kaaba.
Yes. He built the Kaaba as well, right? So how many people worshipping? If you look at his accounts, man, you cannot count his accounts. That's why Rasulullah SAW asked, what is the best salawah? He always do it, Ibrahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim. The way you give blessing to Ibrahim alayhi salam, we want that salawah, right? So how many Muslims now like go around and Kaaba and doing sa'i, doing the stoning of the shaitan and everything. This is like, for example, when you think about it, when we did our umrah, just running, what exactly we're doing? We're mimicking someone looking for water. It's not an act of worship at all, but that act is the act of obedience at the highest level. At the highest level, subhanallah. May Allah make us people who always increase our iman and faith, that we always believe in Allah, and hopefully we can see the family of Ibrahim alayhi salam in Jannah, inshallah. And I want to see the video how he came up from the fire, and how he left his wife Hajar in the middle of nowhere, and because of Allah, this complete trust in Allah. I think that's all I want to say today. That's my time. Jazakumullah khair.
Last question.
Yeah, probably. Simple questions only, please.
I mean, the Bible, there's a mention about the stalking his son, but never mention about the firing. That's all.
The what? The what?
The fire.
The throw into fire. Yeah, this in the Quran I mentioned to you.
But sometimes it's, I mean, Bible is common. There's a common formula, right?
I don't know whether the story of the burning of Ibrahim or Abraham in Bible. I don't know. I can't remember.
There is a book.
Yeah. No,
Alright.
not the story, right? Yeah.
You know what's amazing? This morning, I was going to tell you, this morning in my school, in the morning assembly, the teacher talked about Ibrahim.
MashaAllah.
And she mentioned the story of the ram, the slaughter.
The slaughter.
And she was taking lesson out of that to tell the students.
Wow.
And I was just looking, I was like, and I was just smiling there, right? And I was like, because obviously I knew what to talk this and I was like, yeah, Allah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's amazing. Is believe in Allah, and I think one of the things people have been asking me why we need to worship Allah is actually our need to worship Allah, and if you come to this to level of worshiping Allah like this, is all just, you see, when you see the kids playing games, right? You can see how addicted, and wake up in the morning addicted, right? Yeah, how engrossed. You know, the Qurata ayun of Rasulullah SAW is praying, is namaz, right? So when Prophet Muhammad SAW want to find comfort, he make salah, namaz. That's how we find comfort. Like kids playing game, like addicted, never stop. So that's why Prophet SAW can pray hours and hours and hours, because he's just addicted to it. It's just the pleasure of it. Right? So we need to get what do you call that? Purify our hearts. So we come to that level that we don't enjoy anything else but worshiping Allah. Just obedience, complete obedience, and you don't get pleasure as of what the prophets get pleasure, just from worshiping Allah. May Allah make us very closer and closer to Allah, and enjoying the sweetness of worshiping Allah and obeying Him.
Was there any prophets that were alive or also delivering a message while Ibrahim alayhi salam was also delivering a message?
When after the story, after the story of the slaughter of Ismail, and he went back to Palestine, and then there was three men came to him, giving two news. One of them is that they're going to the Prophet Lut alayhi salam.
These three men are going to Lut.
Yeah, these three men, they came, and then Prophet Ibrahim gave them calf, a fried calf, or some food, right? But they're actually angels. They don't eat them. And then we come here to do two things. Number one, we're going to go to the Ummah of Lut. We're going to destroy them, and then we're also telling you that Isaac will be born from your wife Sarah. Right. So that means during that time there's Prophet Lut alayhi salam on a different area. Yeah. So in fact, if we continue after the fire story, just right after ayat number 104, 105, I think, it was everyone. The believers at that time is only Sarah and Lut. So three of them went to Egypt. So this is where Ibrahim alayhi salam did his third lie, which is there was a king in Egypt that whenever they find the girl, they always if the girl is the wife of that person, and then they will snatch the woman. So when Ibrahim was asked, who is this girl, he said, this is my sister. So he didn't say this is my wife, even though he was saying this is my sister.
That Sarah was.
Yeah. Yes. And then Sarah was kidnapped taken by the king, and then the king tried to harm her, and then he got his hand frozen, and then, okay, I'll help you, but I'll make dua to Allah that Allah remove you put you back everything to normal. He did until 3 times, right? And he cannot harm Sarah, and then he let Sarah go, and then he gave Hajar as a gift, the slave Hajar. And that's where Ibrahim a.s. got the Ismail from, which is the marriage between him and Hajar. That's the story. So at that time there was Prophet Lut. Yeah.
One last thing. Yeah?
Yeah, I just want to ask about Safa Marwa. You mentioned Hajar she ran from one end to the other.
Yeah.
So, for example, if we go for Umrah or Hajj, is it better for us to run, or, as I see mostly people just simply walk? So we check which one is better.
I think this is back to the ritual of Hajj, right? When I did my part, I was asked to show that the sense of hurriness, right? The sense like you want to run, find something, but you want to at the same time you're looking for your baby as well. Of course, it depends on your ability. If you cannot run anymore, people are still in the wheelchair, people push that in the wheelchair as well. But the idea, if you have the hurriness, you can feel that. what you do there is actually mimicking our mother, Lady Hajar, right? Mimicking that. So you can feel that. Why are we doing this? This is the highest level of obedience. That's all what you do, right? This is all Hajj is all about, like the last station of you become a Muslim. And that's why it's a pillar of Islam.
And
Yeah.
I think also there's some points they show, like the green point.
That's Mikat for not Mikat, sorry. That's the Yamani. That is the
No. In the Safa Marwa,
yeah. Or just like
there's some point
yeah.
where it's green and it's they I don't know if they've
Oh, this is the sign
Yeah.
you have to go by. Yeah.
the sign you
Because
can
it's no longer a hill.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, it's already aircon and cover everything. You cannot see there because after millions of people walking there and running there, then the hill, even the Uhud. If you've been to Medina, you see Uhud. They say they fire for they shoot from Uhud and stuff. You can see the place is no, it's not that high anymore. Because you can imagine millions of people walking there. It's gonna be. You see the path sometime, right? You can see people walk there, and then you can see the path has a sort of like a canal, like a hole in that, right? So yeah, that Safa and Marwa is no longer a hill. Is for us is just vacation, right? There's the aircon, and then along the line, there's a Zamzam water. It's being distributed, and you can actually choose the cool one or not, right? The normal one, right? What do you call that? They distribute the water to Safa and Marwa. That's all. Yeah, Zamzam water.
Zamzam water,
Yeah,
while they're doing it.
yeah. So, if you want to summarize at the pinnacle of faith, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam.
But did he have any, like, I mean, obviously, his prophets, his message was a miracle in itself. Did he have any, like, miracle, like, Musa, the sea, Isa, bringing life, Nuh alayhi salam,
Yeah.
the ark, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of course, many.
Yeah, they say it's the fire.
The fire,
yeah.
yeah.
This is where people
Yes.
start to believe
Yes.
in him, and some of them secretly embrace Islam. The one that who openly is Lut alayhi salam.
Yes, the fire.
Yeah. So people would obviously see there's no way
Yeah,
this is not a message from Allah.
Jazakallah.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك جزاكم الله خير السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
My Allah is the one, the